I wanted to talk about, and I think you guys have spoken about it. Nawabi spoke about this. Was a Dutch university that did a detailed study on Iran.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we did a whole stream on this.
yeah. I think I did it too, and I think that video, I think I titled it "Iranian Leaving Islam in Huge Numbers." Something, it hit something like 60, 70,000 views or something. So it went really well. But now Pakistani media, this is the same newspaper Jung that I spoke about earlier that had usurped this building, this temple. So anyway, so they covered this news story a few days ago in Urdu that Pura Mashriq Vasta aur Iran mein nisf Dad Islam se dur hoti ja rahi hai, meaning in the entire Middle East and in Iran, nearly half of people have distanced themselves from Islam. And this was published on 8th of February, at least on on their website. And I think DWTV covered that as well last year. This was a pretty big study, 50,000 Iranians.
That's, and as I said, huge sample. For guys, if you don't know about studies and statistics, this is a massive sample. And I believe after they did data cleaning, it was still like over 45,000. That's crazy.
That's absolutely crazy. And as you can see, the Iranian this was Utrecht University. I think Utrecht University. I think it was whatever it was. It was some Dutch university that did the detailed study, and apparently they actually explained the process of the study as well. And I think Armin and Susanna, they covered the whole methodology. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm happy with this. So do check out an Atheist Republic Iran Leaving Islam or something like that. It'll come up. So 90% of the 50,000 Iranian participants in the survey reside in Iran. So these were Iranian people. So not just diaspora of Iranians, but actually, so what 50% of Iranian would 90% of 50% would be what 45,000 in Iran. The result of the survey to be 95% accurate, and that's a general error rate or something. I think that's a general benefit they give to any study, that 95% would be accurate. So the part that is interesting here is, actually they're two interesting parts. The first one, that even though it is the only Shia dominated country, majority of the population does no longer consider themselves Shia. So according to the results, 78% of Iranians believe in God. So they still believe in God, but only 26% of them believe in the second coming of Messiah, Imam Mahdi, which is the main belief of 12 Shias. So they're not Shias anymore. So they believe in God, and they would still classify themselves as Muslims, but they don't believe in the central tenet of Shia Islam. Now, the other one is, this is the second aspect, which is a very interesting one. 32, well, and an extension of that is 32% of Iranians consider themselves Shia Muslims. Just 32% and Iran is supposedly a Shia country. 9% have claimed to be atheists, and 22% do not align with any religion. So they're agnostics, basically. And I put agnostic atheists in the same category. So 22 plus 9 is what, 31%. Now that number is staggering. 31% in Iran are agnostic atheists. 31 freaking percent. I think in Australia we've got 33%, UK 32, 33%, America, what's the number in America? Something like that, 33.
I mean, it depends on the generation.
Yeah, so
it's pretty
so that shows, wow. I always, if I ever meet Richard Dawkins, I'm going to ask him that question, because there was a phase when I went through his every book, every interview, every speech, every debate, I listened and watched. And there was one interview, I think it was done in 2007, 8. Or something like that. Somebody asking him, well, you've started this new movement, the new atheist movement, as it was called back then. And they said, how do you feel about the future? And Richard Dawkins said, look, I'm quite optimistic. I'm quite optimistic about the future, but I'm not sure about the Muslim world. That's what he said at that time. And I was an ex-Muslim at that time, and I was like, and I had become an ex-Muslim because of him. And I was like, no, there has to be more. But this is again going back to 2007 and 8. And now, some 13 years later, look at the number we're churning up. We're rivaling freaking United States and Europe and Australia and Canada, these countries. 31% of Iranians are agnostic atheists. And that's just not Iran, as Jung newspaper said. This is happening in rest of Middle East as well. Tunisia is the sexiest part. Look at this, 34%. 34% are away from, have distanced themselves from religion. Libya just went through a civil war, 25%. Algeria is around 15%. Lebanon is more or less unchanged, but still over 12%. Morocco, 12%. Egypt, 10%. Sudan 10%, Palestinian territories unchanged 8 or 9%, Iraq maybe 6%, Yemen going through a war. These are the time. The reason I'm bringing that up, civil war and war, because these are the time when people tend to become more religious, and the 5% are non-religious people. So I would love to talk to, and I'm sure Richard Dawkins would have changed his opinion a long time ago after he would have seen the rise. And obviously after that, the rise of ex-Muslim thing happened, 2008, popularized by the Mariam Namazi and Ayan Hasili and all these guys came up. So this is now it's echoing in the Muslim world as well. I think this is something, I have a feeling, and Susanna, what do you think about it? I have a feeling something bad, something is going to happen. Then Islam is not just going to quietly roll over and die. There's going to be a one big lashing out by this beast we call Islam. So these people are going to become aware. They are getting accustomed to cartooning of Muhammad, blasphemy, thanks to Atheist Republic blasphemous art. And I think this is why it's so important that you keep doing that, because first of all, there's a practical reason. They're going to come after Armin and you before they come after me. but I am true. Doing. No, not really. Maybe in the Western world, but not in the Islamic world, because oh my God, some of the messages I get, videos I get, and people make videos on TikTok and all that, like really brutal, violent ones, because Pakistan is a totally different beast, and I'm the only one who's doing an Urdu with my face on. I think Bay Yakin Banda is doing that too. So guys, do check out his channel. So that's why it's important. Where's that dickhead? Have I blocked him yet or not? Or he's still hovering around after that? Oh, he's still here. So, cunt, I should be given more money so I can actually have some security as well. Like I am the one. Supposedly my address was leaked. Right now as we speak, some group of people might actually be planning to attack that house, which is supposedly my address. So while dickheads like you hide behind a little YouTube name, it can't even show your photo or your real name, and so what is so special that Harris is doing? So you know what, just get the fuck out of here. Block.
My only comment on the Iranian news was that one thing that was really interesting about it was that basically they ask him a variety of beliefs as well, right? So that people ask him like, do you believe in God? And some of them said like, yes, I believe in God, but I don't believe in like these core Shia beliefs, or I don't believe in things that are like core Islamic beliefs. Like, I think one of the very telling polls was like, do you believe in Jannah? Do you believe in heaven or paradise? And a minority of the people said yes. That's like a core tenet. So what this means is, guys, go watch our stream on this. It was the cutest thing ever. It was like Armin was having like 10 Christmases at the same time. And I'm going to say this slowly because it sounds so good. This study leads us to believe that it is probable that Iran is a Muslim minority country.
Yeah, it is quite something, isn't it? It's Shias love to play a victim card, and they say, oh, there are more Shias in Iraq, but it's a Sunni dominated country and they've been persecuted. Shia loves being victims. But now here, Iran is the only Shia dominated country. What was it? Is Syria, was Syria supposed to be Shia as well? I don't know about the demographics there. But now technically, even in Iran now they are the oppressor because the majority is not Shia.
And what Armin said, he was like, this is, like, honestly, this is like, thank you. Yeah, Armin, yes! Like, this is all thanks to the Ayatollahs,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Armin is a very important, Iranian atheist activist, but the Ayatollahs, this regime is doing this work faster than any of us could do, right? Like, because they are showing people like this is what it means to live this way, and people don't like it. They're miserable. And what's also very telling is in that poll they talked about attitudes towards the hijab. It was not only do the majority of participants disapprove of the compulsory hijab, like is present in Iran, but they disapprove of the hijab period. Right? So it also demonstrates that this is why it's important to separate citizens from their governments, because the attitudes of at least the majority of these participants were much more liberal than, what the state government would like you to believe.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So, I was going to say, as someone just said, Harris, a lot of people are leaving Islam, and I think you said that as well. But the point is, it's so strange. We're seeing these huge numbers. These percentages translate as millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was thinking, it's not all because of us, as in collectively us. Like the ex-Muslim movement as such. I mean, obviously, it has its own place, and we're encouraging people to come out and share your stories and talk, and you're not alone. Look at us, we're sharing our faces and whatnot. But there's something happening by itself as well through, and social media alone cannot be credited to it. I mean, I think also there's years and years of oppression, and these governments that have tried their hardest to keep these people in the old world, and now we're entering the 21st century. They're like, my life is not getting better. Nikita Khrushchev, I think when he went to no, sorry, not Nikita Khrushchev, Deng Xiaoping. He was the Communist Secretary General of China after Mao. When he went to Japan, and he was obviously a radical communist, and they had this communist ideology, and they were led to believe that this is the best perfect system. When he went to Japan, the mortal enemy is like, geez, every person here has a refrigerator. Their lives are better than our peasants. We supposedly have the best form of government, best method of governing people, but our people are suffering in poverty and dying. And then he went to America. It's like, we need to bring capitalism to China, and he is the father of modern China because he actually did do that. So I think people are realizing on their own as well, and that in 21st century is like, my life is not better under hijab. I mean, most of who's the lady who wrote that book, Wind in My Hair or something? That
Masih Alijinjad.
Aline Dinajad. That woman, she's got a huge following, but I don't think she's ever been an ex-Muslim or spoken along those lines. Is she? Does she classify?
I actually think that she might be. I know there's a second.
She might be an ex-Muslim, but she doesn't focus on that.
Hottest episode, but that's not her area. Her area is primarily for hijab and women's rights.
Exactly. So people, again, it's a multi-dimensional attack that Islam is under siege from all directions, politically, theologically, and from all angles. It is just being attacked, and it just struggling. It just barely keeping its head above water. And the reason why I say that is because we can't. I'm saying she can't. Well, maybe she can, because you're the expert. I actually wouldn't challenge you on that. She is an ex-Muslim, I think, as well. But
she's trying to get the widest base possible, right? So that's not what she emphasizes the most. She wants to have a bigger tent. And probably because but she's taken on the bigger beast in the room, which is the Islamist government in Iran. For example, and same with I have noticed, whether people would agree with that or not, in Pakistan at least, if you speak against the army, you're more likely to get killed than if you speak against Islam. That is, I learned that lesson pretty early on, and after I've spoken with some politicians in the government as well, ministers as well, and they're saying, we can't endorse you or anything, but nobody cares. The government, at the government level, Pakistan doesn't care if you criticize, but the Pakistan ISI or intelligence agencies might come after you if you're anti-state, or if you're spreading the separatist ideology or something. So to help me produce more videos like these, support me on Patreon or PayPal.